Okay, so I am super excited to be speaking to our next guest. Before I even say who she is, the other day in an interview of my own, someone asked me if it's a requirement of an artist to go through the things that they then write about or sing about or create around. And we ended up speaking about Adele and whether Adele had to experience the life that she did in order to make the music that then informed and reshaped all of our worlds. This next guest can answer this question better than I ever could, having both lived a life of such extremities and resilience and bravery and beauty, and then also created films that shine a light on those experiences. Through no shortage of bravery and no shortage of strength, Mariia escaped Ukraine with her 7-year-old son, and today tells the story whilst encouraging others to grow understanding and compassion towards what it really means to flee as if your life depends on it, because it does. Mariia, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you? How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. Yeah, Sophia, I feel like this is real privilege to have this chat with you and to have a part on this podcast. And I feel like I kind of have a responsibility to talk about the, really deep and meaningful topics because like you says, the song and actually music, it's a language which don't have words. So it
Mm,
relates to each single nation. It doesn't matter what language you speak, you will understand the meaning and the purpose
mm.
of the song and music. That's why I think that's absolutely amazing to took. I think that's brilliant.
I really get that because, and we'll come on to your hope hit in a second, but I think even sometimes if you don't know the lyrics, you still kind of get the energy of a song, right? You still kind of get if it's telling you to dance or be happy or sad, even if you haven't kind of tuned into the words. And that is like a beautiful thing. And as a poet, sometimes it breaks my heart because I might ask someone, what was the song about? And it's like, I don't know,
Mhm. Yeah,
which is fine,
yeah, and
which
also,
is fine.
what I found that sometimes I have this. Probably you have it also. Some music may be popular, or maybe I don't know. You don't know where it comes to your mind, but you just repeat it again and again. And sometimes I just like, okay, I know this is this song, so I try to find the text and I translate it to Ukrainian, and I just shocked because
Yeah.
it's the vibe of the situation where I'm kind of handling now. I just straight away
Mm,
try to find the kind of background of it. Maybe,
yeah.
yeah, just the text translated to Ukrainian, and I just like, oh yeah, that's the
It's
answer.
exactly what I'm going through.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's so interesting. Maybe it's a frequency thing as well, like the frequency of your emotion matching the frequency of the music in that moment as well.
Yeah,
Maybe that's where the synergy is.
yeah.
So before I ask you what your hope hit is, which I will, I'm just going to quickly explain what that is to our listeners. So a hope hit is basically a song that brings a light back into the room of your body and your heart. It's a song that you listen to and maybe you feel empowered or you remember to have faith in people or in yourself. It's a song that ultimately inspires you to keep putting one foot in front of the other or even just celebrate where you are now. So, Mariia, tell me, what is your hope hit?
It's a song which relates to the Christmas time, and this song in
Mm,
particular was Shedrik, which
mm.
actually because it sounds like Carol of the Bells.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
Ukrainian song.
Oh, wow. Do you know what? That's so interesting because I clicked the link yesterday to hear it and I was listening to the melody. And of course, I'm familiar with the melody and the rhythms of the song. But after hearing Carol of the Bells in Ukrainian, I realized I actually have never thought about what I'm singing. I've actually never thought about what it is I'm saying. So tell me about, so why this song? What is it about this song that inspires a feeling in you, or what is that feeling?
Yeah, that's actually a really deep question because I don't have like one answer to it. Because when I was a
Mm,
kid, I sing this song because it was kind of so popular song in Ukrainian. And I also, like you says, I never pay attention to words because it's actually, if you will translate it, it's like the bird from the summer bird, which basically on the winter time you can't find it. Come back to your home. This is a new year. This is new beginning. And it was quite weird to understand why summer bird at this winter time, Christmas at winter, why it's happening. But it
Right.
sounds so light, so like you blessing the house where you enter to sing the song. And you wish to
Mm.
these people, even you never know this family before, you bless them, you wish them to have a good harvest, to have a healthy life, to have a love and a lot of good stuff. And I don't know any person who don't like this phone pa
Yeah.
pa 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 pa. It's just like, it sounds so festive, I would say. So that
Yeah.
was the beginning. And sometimes when I just have this shift in the weather, when it becomes more Christmas, I already have it. And I can't switch
Mm.
it off, and I don't want to switch it off. I feel like this is the exact feeling what Christmas bring to me. And then when I grow older, when the war starts and we have to leave and all of this happening, I found out because I didn't know that it also popular in the world by the different name. And when I figured it out, I start kind of deep dive and found information that actually blows my mind. I don't
Mm.
know. Are you ready for piece of history?
Yeah, I wanna know.
In 1990s, where the First World War finished, Ukraine and countries like Poland, Romania, Finland, all of this country, which is like close to Ukraine, was happy to have chance to be independent. And
Mm.
Ukraine become independent country in 1990s. Simon Petlura
Mm.
create a republic. So he was
Okay.
artist critic. He was journalist before he become a politic. And he started thinking how to kind of improve explain to the world that Ukraine is an independent country, because Russian propaganda says that moment that Ukraine
Right.
is not real country, is a border of Russia. So what he did, he decided to send abroad to Europe and to America the core which Ukrainian songs will sing from the big stages, and people will listen. If there's a country who has the culture, their own languages, why it should be border of someone else's country? It's separate country. And they choose like a program with different songs, and one of it was the Carol of the Bells, but it wasn't
Wow.
Carol of the Bells that moment. It was Shedrick, and all the songs was in Ukrainian.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and Mykola Leontovich, this is the composer who created all of the bells, which that moment was Shedrick.
Wow.
He create this song on the base of old Christian songs. And before
Mm.
Christians came over to Ukraine, the New Year starts at spring. That's why the summer birds comes to your house. You see, that's so
Wow.
deep meaning.
Wow.
And when it happened, when this horror comes to Europe, comes to different cities at the USA, it becomes super popular. Tons of
Yeah.
messages comes to Ukraine, comes till at this tone is kind of like touch the hearts of listeners.
That's insane. So the song in some ways helped put Ukraine was already on the map. It was already on the map, but it helped people recognize Ukraine as a place that wasn't just like a cut off of Russia or like Russia's aside. It's actually its own place with language and art and story and poetry and song. And a song played a big role in breaking Ukraine out into the wider world.
Everyone has it because it's
Uh,
become part of the Christmas mood, and now you know that it have a deep meaning and deep roots of Ukraine, and it's, I don't know, it's fantastic that we can touch it right now because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
absolutely the same, unfortunately.
That
Well,
bleak. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully. There's so much I didn't know. I didn't know that this is like a cycle of something that has happened 100 years ago, and I definitely didn't know Carol of the Bells was originally Ukrainian. And I guess I have to ask as well. So, knowing how important a role music and art has played in opening at least some people's eyes, maybe not the whole world just yet, but at least some people's eyes to Ukraine as its own place, as its own autonomous individual place, not attached to Russia. Does any of that inform why you practice art and why you practice the things that you do? Because I know a lot of the beautiful art you create comes from what you come from, and where you've come from. So, how do they kind of dance together? The role and responsibility of art in telling a true story.
Yeah, I think it's just the same.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm responsible for talking about it because I'm abroad. I'm not in Ukraine, but I also fighting for my country.
Yeah.
That's why I start my path as a director and producer. So we
Mm,
create a documentary which relates to Ukrainian kids who unfortunately become refugee in UK,
mm,
and it's called Children's Voices, and
mm,
it gives a lot of nominee, and we win few festivals, and
mm.
also it was shown at the Parliament of UK, so it has
Wow.
big impact. But also, I feel like we need to talk about different mentality, talking about culture, talking about history, music,
Yeah.
and try to, reshape the figure of Ukrainian in the mind of people who are, interested in the topic. And it gives this right feeling, right direction that it's different nation and it has
Mm,
their own land, their own culture, their own language. So we
yeah.
decide to create something because I'm not a singer, I'm not a composer. I create videos. So I decided to make a podcast because it's simple. We just have a guest
Mm.
and start chatting about some topics, what's related to the idea. And we create podcasts which calls You and I, Ukrainian You Identity.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm inspired by that, and I think also you said it so perfectly. When you give something a name, you almost make a decision for it.
Yeah.
And I think calling something the border of something makes it secondary in your head, but actually it's not. And I think even when we think about just the terms refugee, migrant, um, they have they have so many connotations and things attached to them. But actually, if you just look at it as a person moving from a
Exactly.
place, a person fleeing from a place. It's just there's so much more space for empathy, and that kind of brings me on to my next question as well. So,
Hmm.
I would love to talk a bit about your story. So, for someone in the UK, we always hear about refugees and migrants, but never really from a refugee. We never really get told why people must flee and why they have to seek refuge here. Your story is so powerful, and I would love for you to share a bit about it with our listeners. So, what began your mission across borders?
Yeah. So basically, honestly, I never want to leave my country. To be honest,
Mm,
that's probably the best place for live, not only for me. I had two business in Ukraine. I just applied for have my own house there with a big piece of
wow.
land, which is
Yeah.
has the window in front of the pine wood, like 100 kilometers
Mm,
and walk. Yeah. So like 20 minutes walk, I have a river where I can swim during the summer. But
wow.
it's like, it was almost perfect life. Couldn't imagine that something will go wrong or the war start.
Mm,
I can't believe it will happen. So I didn't have a plan to leave. I didn't have a chance in my mind that it will happen. When it happened, I was at my home with my son and I just hear the massive like explosion near my house
wow.
where when at 4 a.m. at the morning my house just do this,
Wow.
and I just like shocked.
Oh my
It's not
gosh.
it's not fireworks, no, something wrong, and I was
Mm,
shocked. I
mm,
was so scared. Like, what should I do? It's like -10 outside. What should I do? I'm far away from
mm,
the big city. So I grab my son, we go to the basement and try to call everyone. What's the next plan? What should we do? And my mom and my brother I didn't have
Oh my
any
gosh.
idea what's going on, how to help them, what I need to do next. I don't have food. I don't have fuel. I was like kind of, you know, some people get prepared, but not me because I was such a believer to the good. I
Yeah,
would
that
say,
this
or
couldn't
spirit.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Once I come up upstairs to bring my something warm because in the basement it's not that warm as in a house, and I saw like 20 helicopters, big one, flying under my roof. And I saw from my window how they have a fight in the air and one helicopter goes to that river where I swim. So I was like,
Oh my
what
gosh.
to do? Like, what
Oh
you will
my
do would
god.
happen to you? Like, what's the idea? What's the plan? It's not a movie, it's real life. And you have a kid. You're not alone,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
dependent on you. And he looked at me and like, what is going on? And I tried to explain him that I even don't know what to say to him. Is it war?
Yeah.
He will finish. He actually waiting for him to go to his kindergarten and he didn't and he was upset. And
Uh,
so in
uh,
3 days, I found out that Russians took Sumy where my mom and my brother live and they shut down all the radio station, all the phone stations, so you could have any connections to the people.
oh my,
So I was praying so much and hope that everything's
yeah.
fine in their life and everything's good. And in 3 days, they create like a corridor for civilians who can leave the Sumy
Okay.
area. So as far as I know that the corridor is open, I knew that as soon as they will be there, they have a connection, they will call me. That's what
Okay.
happened. So they went through this and my mom called me and says like, you know, everything's fine. Don't worry. Are you okay? Are
Okay.
you, yeah, in a safe place? So at that moment, that was already third day. And I start
Wow.
realizing that I need to leave. Why I
Mm,
need to leave? Because I live like behind the river.
yeah.
So we have only three main bridges. And I heard that someone already destroyed one. And the only one road through my city is by two last bridges.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I put everything to my car, safety belt to my son. You know that I found someone left the, you know, like a helmet for the building. I put helmet on my son. Yeah, give him
Uh,
to the hand the icon with the sun severing. Click me. I didn't
uh,
put anything to my like. I didn't think about my clothing. I have one clothing on me and one dress on my back, but I have three pillows and few blankets because someone says that there is a huge queue to go out from Ukraine and people are starving and they shivering because there is like a minus 15.
wow.
So I
Minus
just
15. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
what you will choose at this point?
Oh my
Leave or stay?
gosh. Leave.
Yeah. So I decided to leave. I tried to go to Poland through Lvov, but it
Okay.
wasn't possible. Too many people, and then we stay. We live in some school area. Some people invite us to the house to sleep and eat because it was
Mm,
I don't know, probably the most stressful days in my life. But thank
yeah.
God we make our road to Romania
Yeah.
and stay there for a while because I always, I don't know why, maybe because I'm more positive person. I always believe that everything will be finished soon.
Yeah.
But when I realized that probably not, then we try to find the way to escape to other countries where we can stay and I can find work.
Yeah.
That's how I'm here.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Um, I don't even think sorry feels like an adequate thing to say right now, but
No, well,
what were you telling yourself? So when you were going through arguably things that I would only ever see in a movie, and most people would only ever see in a movie or on the news, you're doing it not just as a woman on your own, but also with a child as well. So you can be worried for yourself and then twice as worried for your child as well. That's like a double fear. What were you telling yourself to just maintain hope and maintain faith? Like, what were you waking up and telling yourself? Well, I imagine it was hour by hour you would have been telling yourself something.
So basically, I have a tape, and I put the tape on the window, on the front window, to sign there's a kid inside. And my son, he has his
Mm,
small, like a teddy bear. It's a, Scooby Doo, cartoon Scooby Doo. And
mm,
so I told him, we need to care about Scooby Doo because it's not safe for him to stay here. And
uh,
I try to, put him in a situation where everything's fine, and we try to, found a safe space for all of us.
yeah.
And I remember that since then, he still sleep with his Scooby Doo because, you know, you know,
Uh,
it's difficult, especially when, it's already fourth year, and he kind of belong to this country now. He speaks English, he have friends here, but
mm,
all his painting is about the war and how Ukrainian
uh,
can protect the Scooby-Doo. That's awful and
oh,
difficult. It's difficult.
oh,
Yeah, that's why I try to do everything what I can, these podcasts, these movies, to kind of broke this wall, like you said, this meaning
mm,
refugee or migrants, it's nothing.
mm,
It's like a zero. When you say about neighbor, when you say about your friends who has their own stories, their own troubles, and which similar. You also
mm.
have your family, your kids, or friends, or mother, or brother, and someone can get ill.
Yeah, honestly, just your fortitude and your strength and your bravery, and to even take everything that you went through to then offer it as a service to other people as well, to humanize the transition and also to raise awareness to what's actually happening from such a human perspective. I think only you can do that. I think you're doing something that you were very much born to do and built to do. And I'm definitely going to tune into the podcast, but I'm sure that you're changing so many people's hearts and minds about this ordeal, because it isn't people just like coming to the UK because you want to come to the UK. You don't flee your land unless you have to.
Yeah,
Like you said, you didn't want to leave Ukraine, that wasn't the intention. You loved it there. You don't travel across seas, you don't risk these things unless you absolutely have to. And just for raising awareness for I'm so sorry that is what you've had to go through as a mum and as a person, as an individual, but for just shining a light on it and actually pledging your gifts to shining a light on it. I think that's so admirable and so inspiring and so strong of you to do that as well. So thank you. Thank you for doing that and sharing as well, for sharing this story. So
thank you.
good. Okay, so for my last question, I just want to ask, when you did come to the UK and you were like setting up base here, and to even have the fortitude to keep pushing to start businesses in the arts world, is it's not the easiest world in of all the worlds to break, but to continue being strong whilst you're here. Was there a moment in the UK or in London or just in the UK in general where maybe it was a person or a conversation that made you think, I'm going to be okay here, or there's a
Yeah,
community here for me?
yeah. That's that's actually where idea of podcast starts. But
Yeah.
I didn't think that podcast is the way, you know. It happens when I realized that we have so many people here in the UK, people from different countries. UK, it's a country where you have English people, Irish people, people from Wales, and their own stories, their own cultures. And Ukraine, it's like also construct or different type of nations, because Ukraine is such a big country. We have different dialogues everywhere, like
Mm,
UK too, from the north to the doer. You will have different type of pronunciation. So,
right.
and somehow I found Ukrainian community here, Hilltops Ukrainian community, which was running, engaging, involving English people.
Mm,
And that was the first kind of vibe where, I started to realize London and UK have so many different cultures inside, and for such a long
mm,
period of time, like 500 years, the mixture of cultures happening. So I
mm,
start talk about this stuff with different people, and I always have some supportive thoughts to me about this idea, and they always suggest something from their point of view. And everywhere where I pop up with this idea, or everywhere people just support it and said like, yeah, 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 you have to do it. And
mm,
when I start this volunteer project, all the people who involved, they don't have any money from it. We do it just because
mm.
we like it. We want to share the differences and similarities. And sometimes we found
Wow.
out so many similarities between our countries and our people and mindset.
Yeah. My goodness, thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for your story. Thank you for the knowledge you shared as well. I know that I've left feeling smarter, and I know anyone who listens to this is going to leave feeling more informed and more empowered, and just have just such a greater knowledge of Ukraine as this place that people didn't want to leave. That I think that's really, really important to remember. Thank you for sharing your hope hit as well, and even just the story that comes with that as well is so rich, and teaching me about what it means to save a life, to save your life, and to save your son's life. That is just such an incredible journey. So thank you so much for joining us today, Mariia.
Thank you for having me. It's
Thank
such a
you.
pleasure. Thank you.
The pleasure's ours. Listeners, you can nominate your own Hope Hits, and all of the songs of hope will be added to our Hope on Repeat playlist. Alongside voting, you can also find more stories and music and the work that we're doing to support displaced people around the world at unrefugees.org.uk. My name is Sophia Thakur. I'm a poet and singer, and we will catch up soon. But until then, keep hope on repeat.